So there's a broken brick on these front steps, and where it's located it's a little dangerous, so it's going to have to be replaced. I'm going to show you in the video how I did that. Here are some of the tools I end up using, and I'm going to make another video that goes over more detail on all the tools I end up using. So please check that out. So to get started, I use the drill and masonry bit. I'm going to remove some of the mortar in the rear of the brick. I'm going to use the grinder with a stone blade and remove some more mortar. And then I'll use a circular saw with the stone blade, and that's great for removing the mortar on the sides. Then I'm going to switch over to a chisel and a hammer and try and pry up the brick. Unfortunately, a few of the other bricks where mortar was cracked, so a few extra are going to come out, which is fine. Okay, we pop the brick out, pop the rest of the bricks out. Now we're going to have to remove all this old mortar. I'll use the screwdriver and the hammer and try and remove as much as I can. And then I can switch to the grinder and the stone blade and try and cut some of the mortar off. That little grinder with the stone blade is outstanding. It just cuts through the mortar like butter. And you want to clean it up, and you want to be careful that you don't lift up any other bricks. Now I'll switch to the circular saw and remove this last bit of mortar. Then once it's all clean, brush it off. And then we'll hose it down, all the rest of the dust off. And we're going to take a bucket and we'll fill it up with water and put the bricks that we're going to use in there so they can soak. Then we'll grab a separate bin to mix the mortar. We're going to use a mask so we don't breathe in any of the dust, and we'll pour a little water in. We'll end up using this Type S mortar mix. We'll dump it in, add some extra water to the top, and mix it around with the trowel. And you want to keep mixing it around. And then if it ends up being too wet, you want to add a little bit more of the mortar mix. You want it to stay on the trowel so it doesn't fall off. You want it nice and thick, and we're going to put it on. And the mortar mix that I mixed up might have been a little bit wet, but it still worked fine. Then we'll grab the bricks that we had lined up and we'll put the mortar on it. We can put extra mortar down if it's sitting too low, and just keep adding it till it's at the right height. If it's too high, you could always tap it down with a little mallet. But it seems like I'm not putting enough mortar down, and I'm going to fill in all the joints. I know it looks very messy right here, but don't worry about it. It's going to be a messy job, and we're going to end up cleaning it up once we get all the mortar in. Now you can reuse the old bricks. I end up reusing them. You just have to remove the old mortar before you use them. And I'll end up showing that in the video that goes over the more detail of the tools I end up using for this project. Once you have all the bricks in place, then you want to take the mortar mix and you want to fill in all the gaps. Use the trowel. You want to push it in there. Now I'm going to end up using a different tool now. This is called a floater, and this is normally used for tiling jobs. I'm going to use that to push the mortar mix into the gaps. Remove the excess, make it level with this board. I forgot my level that day, so that's why I'm using the board. Then I'm going to brush off the excess. If any of the mortar's fallen out, you can grab some in your hand and just push it in. And then you're going to take a damp sponge and you're going to clean off the bricks. Just push it in there. And use the damp sponge again to clean them off. And you let it dry a little bit and then clean it off again with the damp sponge. And if you have any spots need a little more mortar, just push it in. and let it dry a little bit, and then take the damp sponge again and clean it off. And then I like to switch to a paper towel. I like to just clean off each individual brick. This way you don't get that white residue on the bricks, and you still might, but it's okay, it'll go away over time. And there you go, it's done. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video and you learned something new, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It helps support my channel and it'll keep you up to date on all my future videos. Leave a comment on what you liked or what you didn't like or what you would have done differently. Thanks again for watching.